Starting off today, nice tricep stretch, arms overhead, reaching over to the left side, over to the right, breathing here, back to the left, and finishing off to the right. Go ahead and release the palms and wind around to a nice eagle pose, starting with the right side. And just continue to breathe here, focusing on your balance, reaching the palms away from your body, feeling that length in your spine, stability in your legs. And keep your shoulders down away from the ears. Go ahead and release, and switching over to the left side. Even though this is a strong pose, try and find your own grace and fluidity in this posture. Feel the length stemming from your core through your arms and down to your heels. And always remember to breathe. And coming back out of it. Go ahead and reach your right toes up and out, and go ahead and tap up and down a few times to open up that hip socket here. Holding it for a moment, and then coming into a nice tree pose, placing your foot anywhere but on your knee, and then go ahead and draw your palms up overhead. And keep your eyes fixed and steady on one solid object. Help keep your balance here. Shoulder blades are down, chest is open, spine is tall, and slowly come out of it. And then same thing to the left. Open up that hip to begin with. And hold. And reaching into your tree, finding your balance on this side. And then palms extending overhead. If you'd like, you can turn your gaze upward to play with your balance a little bit further here. And body is long, breath is steady, and heart rate is calm. Finding peace in this pose, releasing any stress. Slowly coming back out of it. Coming to the right side, reaching into a dancer's pose here. Extending that right leg far back behind you. Don't worry about how far forward your chest comes. Just keep that length going into your spine. Stretching it all the way out from head to heel. And holding it for about another breath. And easing out of it. Switching over to the left side. And again, stretching the whole body out here, as well as creating some strength in the legs. Holding it for about another breath. And gently easing back out of it. With your right leg, bring it into your left hip, coming into a standing half bound lotus. You can try and reach your right palm to your toes. If they don't want to touch, you can go ahead and hold onto your left arm. And just focus on opening up your hips here. As you're ready, start to bend forward. And then go ahead and reach both palms down to the mat. Sinking your hips all the way down to a nice toe breaker balance pose here. And just being easy. Placing the palms back down, reaching the hips up, And coming back to that standing half-bound lotus. Easing back down, switching sides. Left foot comes up, and then reaching the left palm behind your back, and reaching wherever you can. Creating space, start to move down towards the mat. And both palms touch, leaning forward. Bending at the knee, drawing the hips down. And finding your openness and your balance here. One more breath. And palms touching the mat, hips release upward. And coming to that standing half-bound lotus. Easing the foot down, this is the end of your standing sequence, so come down to your seats. And you're going to reach the left foot into your lap, right foot extends out. And as you're adjusted and ready, just slowly draw your body forward over that right leg. Lengthening everything here and breathing steadily. Open up that left hip socket and coming to a seated half-bound lotus. You can stay here, but if you feel like your knees have more openness, you can start to move into a sage, bending the right knee and reaching both palms behind your back. It's important here to keep the left leg down. If it's not touching the mat, go ahead and support it with a pillow or a rolled up washcloth. But we want it to have firm support and not be up in the air. And just breathe into your hips as you're opening both sides. Slowly coming out of it, switching sides here. Left foot stays extended and reaching the body forward, elongating the legs and the spine. Always remember to breathe. The more we hold our bodies, we want to not hold our breaths. Slowly coming back up, open up that right hip and placing it onto the thigh. And if you want, you can come into that sage or just stay in half-bound lotus. Whatever your knees want to do here. Holding it for about another breath. Easing back out, coming into a nice hero's pose in a moment. But first we're going to go ahead and straighten out both legs, just stretching them out here, releasing some of that tension that may have been built up in the hips just a moment ago. So that way we can have more fluidity and movement to be able to come into our hero's pose. So sitting nice and tall, reach both feet to the outsides of your hips, placing your hips down to the mat. If they don't touch, go ahead and sit on a blanket or a pillow, so that way you're not stressing out the hips or the knees here. If you have movement in the knees, if they're not too tight, you can start to come into a variation of a reclining hero, either on your palms, or you can come down to your elbows if you're feeling like you have that movement available to you. And if your hips are not feeling too tight and your knees are not stressed out, you can come all the way down to your head. But just go with whatever your body wants. Maybe you're just completely sitting up still. That's all right. All we're doing is just creating space in the outer hip. Slowly come back out of it. And coming into a humble hero, start to draw the body forward, maybe onto your palms, your forearms, or all the way down. Reaching as far as you can, creating more space in the inner and outer hip. And then sitting back up. If you'd like, you can come to an easy seated pose. If you're feeling like your knees are still doing all right, you can come into a half lotus or sit all the way into a full lotus. And taking a couple of breaths here, being easy in the body. Crossing your arms behind your back, practicing coming into a full bound lotus. If your palms don't touch, as you see mine don't, that's all right. We're just going to continue to practice, and eventually they will join and meet. And gently sitting back up, palms at heart center. Thank you so much for playing with me today. Namaste.